Yeah, I like to have as many melee counters as I can against the Howling Banshees.
I would say that's
All right.
very wise, sir.
All right, so Stevebud actually Stevebud now going for the war boss. I didn't even realize that he switched, but now I'm paying attention. Actually skips his natural requisition. Wants to actually get both of the powers first and just get those started up really quickly. Now getting the natural requisition with his shooter boys. Asmon has not even gone for a third unit purchase yet. Um, put
Asmon,
down
I
a
think,
note.
is going to get 2 gens, and Stevebud's kind of like idea is to secure map control by getting 2 nodes quickly. I think. I mean, that's what he did against Riku. He likes on this map to keep map control.
He also has those double shooter boys, very typical build. And obviously, I think the shooter boys, I guess they work well together. Especially if like a unit actually gets into melee with them, one of them can use aiming what's that, and they can just reposition sometimes without retreating at all.
So Asmon being less expansive with his map capping, preferring to stay more compact and harass with the Warlock. But he is getting those 2 gens, so that implies either Ranger or Shuriken platform next.
Oh, big destructor. Takes those slugger boys, not slugger boys, shooter boys down to about like 60% health. Soon they're going to start losing models.
Well, Asmo's doing well to keep up in map control. Steve kind of needs to do something. Like,
It's been a pretty passive game so far.
well, the main thing is, Asmo, by going 2 gens and getting like the T1.5 unit out first, means that he has fewer squads. Like, Steve needs to do better, I think, to try to get some. I don't know, he's not capping with burner sluggers or gem bashing, so he's doing nothing with that.
Yeah, I just noticed that. They could be capping or...
I call
Or
this a win
bash.
for Asmo so far, really. I mean, small win, but
Oh, I thought you meant the entire game. I thought you were saying that as a joke.
no,
But,
these the way that I look at a game is that it's all like incremental, like little wins build into bigger wins, and eventually you're just sitting on top of their gens and they've got nothing.
So, I actually wonder if the Gen Bash might be worth more than getting the cap on Asmon's natural VP.
Well, yes and no, because Asmon has already seen that the sluggers are there, and he is just ignoring them. Now he's got the Howling Maestro attacking, but the bash was never going to be successful once Asmon had seen that. Oh dear, the cheese are getting low.
This might
Finally
be
get
very
special.
successful for Stevebud. I was afraid with that knockdown he might lose the entire Slugger Boy squad. Probably going to lose one more model, yes, but that last Slugger Boy model will get out of there.
Asmon did lose his Dire Avengers on the other side of the map, though.
Ooh. Where did
That was
those go down?
painful.
Wow.
We are losing a requisition point to the enemy.
So he does have that
Sorry.
does have that shuriken cannon out, that T1.5 unit I guess you were talking about. Oh, double shuriken cannons, which is actually not that uncommon. It used to be very common. That's also one of the things that makes it even better now that you can upgrade those into bright lances in tier 2, keeping one as suppression, putting AV on the other.
I expect that War Boss will get an accessory to try to deal with that, either Now I'm Angry or Boss Pole. But he's getting the Storm Boys, which will counter one of them. I mean, the main problem with Asmon's build right now is that he lacks capping units. Like, the moment Shuriken's capped, they're very vulnerable, obviously. So, if Steve just keeps up the VP pressure, then Asmo is in trouble.
And then shurikens are going to be very static so long as they're actually set up to actually shoot. So he's got a very static build right now. Most of the mobility is in just 2 units, the Banshees and the Warlock. Steve has a completely mobile army, slower units, but 5 of them that can just run around and be very effective at fighting, even while staying mobile.
Steve doing a nice heavy T1 build now, but he needs to get a bit more pressure, I think, if he wants to try to keep the game. But as long as he keeps the pressure, he'll be fine.
Warlock is fine.
Warlock's absolutely fine.
Adding warp generator.
But Stevebud with pretty commanding map control, maybe is in it to win this entire tournament.
Asmo needs another squad. There's no reason to put down another gem before prioritizing another squad, just because he doesn't have the army to defend it.
Yes, and especially right now, he's going to lose at least 1 generator, possibly more. Shuriken cannon horribly out of position, unfortunately.
Oh, Steve is changing up a bit. He's going for shooter knobs, like thinks he needs durability. Oh, I thought that was a bit poor. He could have garrisoned there. Absolutely no reason to do a mass retreat.
Yeah, especially considering it's not like if he put both of the shooter boys in the garrison, that's actually going to be a lot of range damage coming out of the garrison. And Asmon currently with no real counters.
And he knows that, like, he had wiped the Dire Avengers. Third Shuriken Cannon coming. It's not an Overwatch.
Third Shuriken? You're saying it's not on Overwatch?
It's not, because look how much Asmo's floating.
You're right,
If it was
right.
Overwatch.
So, yeah, you're absolutely right. That is very curious. Ooh, use your choppers on the Slugger boys. Alright, that's gonna force.
Yeah. Well, look at that blocking terrain. Like, Asmo had misjudged that miscalculated that would block the line of sight of that.
Hostile orcs are claiming a victory point.
Alright, so triple Guardian weapon teams.
I walk in the witch path, and it leads to
Steve just needs to keep up weak pressure and get a Death Dread, and he's gravy.
I was gonna say we have some blob capping, but he's gonna cap the natural. Asmon's natural with his war boss. Start bringing the Storm Boys over to maybe jump one of these shurikens.
He doesn't even need to. Asmo's really struggling with this Shuriken micro. He needs to garrison that.
Yeah, he's gonna garrison this one. But I mean, Stevebud actually has some garrison counters, although they're actually retreating. But he still has a triple cap.
Well, the main thing is, right now, I think these three setup teams is actually overloading Asmo's micro a little bit, because he isn't getting them coordinated, working together. Oh, Steve doesn't get the triple cap, because I think he used aim one stat on that shooter, but if he had done that, he would be in a very commanding position.
And Asmon's also using some of his Guardian weapon teams as capping units, kind of because he has to, just because that's what he has for
And he has not used that cap either. So,
and he had to stop to actually set up.
oh, this is problematic. This is really problematic. Steve, try and get the triple cap. It's actually a very good move. Like, just pressure that. Oh dear, might be a dead shuriken.
Got one dead shuriken, yes. So
And
one
Banshees
shuriken
are in trouble. Banshees are in big trouble.
Alright, I think the Banshees will just get out of there, but it's not looking good at all for Asmon. Instantly rebuys his Warlock. He's going to tier 2.
Gen. It's looking pretty ugly.
Yeah, I mean, the best I could say is that Asmon, at least still with the Guardian weapon teams, he will be able to put a Bright Lance on one if Stevebud decides to pressure with a vehicle, but I mean, with 3 units for fighting infantry against Stevebud's 5, it's still not a good situation overall.
The webway gate placement is poor. It should be placed off to one side so it's not easily spotted. And no garrison, because those flamers are right there.
And they're going into the garrison anyway. That's really bad. I think if they start burning that
the ability.
Yeah, if he starts burning that house, and then if they actually try to get out of there, oh, that could have been a wipe on them, but Banshee's actually coming to support, scare off the Slugger Boys and the War Boss.
Well, the thing is, using burn that house doesn't actually lock you in place at all, so you could use it and then retreat straight out of it, which I think he should have done. Getting sticks though, which is smart, considering how many Sureplats are out there.
Worst fighters now out for Asmon. I think a very safe purchase overall, just going to give you a lot of good anti-infantry range firepower, as well as giving you that haywire if you need to deal with a vehicle.
I think Steve could try to force, like, kind of bait Asmon into a bad engagement, like, lose models, get a call to boys, and completely destroy Asmon.
Ooh. Stick bombs going in, does not take any models on that Guardian weapon team. Alright, Steve is starting to push forward. Does have Storm Boys at full energy, but very low, only 3 models. And he's also stunning his own Storm Boys. And now really has to be careful of those Banshees. Those Banshees oh wow, they did not do nearly as much damage as I thought they were going to do right there.
It's because he used Fleet of Foot. He should have hit them first, and then used Fleet of Foot if he wanted to chase, so he can get full damage on the first hits. Shooter's going down, maybe?
Ooh, Shooter Boy's going down. These Warp Spiders.
shouldn't melee there. Should just try to pick off another model with range and then retreat.
I mean, at this point, I think Asmon might be trying to go for bigger plays. Hasn't been going that well for him most of the game. And it would just be really nice if he could have taken out that Shooter Boy squad. Probably still not quite enough. Stevebud would probably still have the advantage.
Well, Asmon decided to make a stand in this area and the center. I think he should have made a stand slightly further back where he had superior cover. He had the VP, he could defend the VP. Instead, very exposed to stick bombers, very exposed to range fire. It's a tough place to take a fight.
Oh, those were some nice stick bombs. Called stick bombs as well. He was anticipating the Banshees walking in there. Banshees don't lose any members, but they won't be in a very good position to fight with only like 40% of their health.
Oh, very nice walk throw. And Sluggers are here to support, so these Banshees are going to be in a very perilous situation.
Alright, actually a pretty well-managed engagement by Asmon. Should teleport the Warp Spiders out, yeah. That was a pretty good play. And still no Angry Bits or any Warrior, for that matter, on the War Boss. So there's not much that he can do about one of these Shuriken weapon teams, let alone two. But I think he will want to at least get the web way down if he does take it out.
Well, right now, actually, despite Asmon maybe winning at attrition, oh, he lost his commander, but even then, like, Steve is sitting on all the map control, and the fight hasn't gone anywhere. It's a bit of a stalemate. So, ergo, Steve is making big strides towards the end game.
And I think he's going to wipe the Warp Spiders. No, they teleport out with 10 health.
Takes a hit despite the teleport and loses a model. So close.
Yeah.
We can hear you.
Yeah, 449 to 183. Looks like Asmon is now going to get... No, he's not even going to get this double cap off. He has a Shooter Boy squad right there. It's setting up.
I don't think the aiming mode stat was necessary until, like, they actually set up. Now they're free to fire.
Flanked by the Banshees.
Sticks going in. Now look at these concessions that Asmon is having to make because Steve is being so proactive. Like, Asmon was trying to decap that wreck, but he had to set up his Shuriken to cover isolated Banshees. It's just a really terrible situation.
Trying to capture with those Shurikens, and it's unfortunately not working out that well for him because he's often, as you're saying, setting up so that they can actually be used to fight.
Well, it hurts as well because Steve has them inherently countered with stick bombers. Interesting sticks on Warp Spiders that can get hit anyway because...
not reacting at all to that.
This is just hurting.
And he has the Haywire upgraded pretty much just in case. Well, also does improve the Warp Spider X-Arc's damage.
I think he needs another squad. Upgrading his current loadout doesn't help him.
Oh, and the Shuriken is... I don't know what it was doing. Well... Yeah, Asmon concedes.
Ouch.
So he stayed in there for quite a while. Stevebud looking really strong this tournament. But
Steve brutally exploited his opponent's build order. It was very dubious, I think, to get those 3 Shurikens on such a big map when you need map control. As I was saying, like, having static units just hurts your map control.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised to see 3 Shurikens, period. Two I get. Although 2 is actually still a little surprising after he lost the Dire Avengers. Since usually I'd expect a double Shuriken build on top of your hero, Dire Avengers, and Banshees. That's what I often saw a lot in retail.
I think there are 2 things I wanted to point out from that game, which Steve did very well, which is he pressured the map, right? And a lot of people, especially the casters, like comment, "Oh, you should pressure generators. You should try to destroy the generators," which is true. And Steve did pressure the generators, but I think he took he lost 1 power, but he had a massive advantage. But the single thing about just pressuring your opponent's gens can make him lose his mobility and not cap the map, and that emphasizes the map control you already have.